Hey, much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Pura vida. Thanks for joining me right now, making the time to be here. I appreciate you guys do that. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. We're going to be talking about something interesting. A lot of people I've heard about this over the years, ever since the 90s, but nobody's actually showed you the studies. I'm going to show you guys the studies. And, this is something that should have changed history. This is something that, had a lot of severe implications to their whole out of Africa theories and all that. But this got literally swept under the rug. It got downplayed and nobody ever brought it up, So we're going to talk about it today real quick. I'm going to show you the studies. And I'm gonna try to make something. I'm gonna try to point something out to you guys, like for you to think about. Okay. So, guys, let's stay on topic in the chat, or you will, if you start talking about other stuff, you start adding conjectures. Hey, Simba Honcho, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what your souls you're talking about, and you're talking about Kemetic Egyptian bloodline that ran to America. Kemetic doesn't mean a place, guys. How many times do I gotta teach this? Kemet means rich, black, fertile soil. That's what Kemet means. Fertile, black soil. That's what Kemet means. It's not a place. It's not a landmass. It's not a nation. It's not a tribe. It's not a people. Okay? So try to understand that. And then when you're saying you put me into my Afro-European, I don't know what you mean by Afro. You guys got to stop using Afro for every black person in the world, for every Negro person, and that's not. Afro is Africa. Afro, not. Oh, I'm talking about a hairstyle, Kurimeo. Okay, so how is that African? When do you see Afros in Africa? If you want to really talk about who really wears Afros, that's Southeast Asia. They're the ones who were rocking it since ancient times, like the Fiji Islanders and stuff like that. More in general in ancient times than in Africa. Okay? You guys gotta, like, if you just started following me, you guys gotta really catch up. If you think you know what I'm saying and you're making comments like that, you really don't understand what I'm saying. You got a lot to catch up on, okay? With all respect. With all respect. Check out my Black Asian videos when you want to see some so-called Afro or ancient people wearing their hair like that, Of course, don't go, okay, so don't go off what ChatGPT is a program. It's been programmed by people who are stuck on mainstream false narratives. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Don't repeat. If you see Afro-European, don't repeat that. That's not the best way to describe a black European, just Europeans. Unfortunately, we have to use black and Afro just so people could understand, but don't repeat that. They're not an African about them. They're not Africans, guys. And American so-called black Indians are not Africans either, so don't call them Afro-Indigenous. I got somebody writing to me in an email talking about Afro this and Afro-Indigenous and Aboriginal. I'm an Afro-Aboriginal Indigenous. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? All right, so, but let's stay on topic, okay? Okay, Taino, so don't add the Afro, bro, okay? Okay, see, that's the other thing, bro. Simba, just chill, man. All Tainos don't have straight hair. All Tainos don't have straight hair, okay? So, the concepts we carry of what an American Indian is supposed to have, straight hair, that's all false, guys. Come on. America's a true old world. We had every type of hair. Every type of hair here. Woolly, straight, curly, all that. Stop generalizing. Stop generalizing. We had every phenotype here. Every shade of copper complexion. From the lightest copper to the darkest copper. When I say lightest copper, like you would picture a light-skinned person or light-skinned Negro. When you say darkest copper, so-called black. you're not really black, right? Black is a crayon color. You're more like brown, right? Dark brown, reddish brown, tawny brown, lighter brown, cinnamon, mahogany. There's many ways to describe it, right? We got to get out the crayon colors and empty our cup. You got to empty your cup. You're good, Simba. You're good. Just understand that. You got to practice that. Apply it to your everyday life, because you're going to confuse people who are still stuck in out of Africa theories. You know what I mean? All right. So welcome. Make sure you hit the like, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. A lot of you watch me and not subscribed. I'm not sure why, but you're here almost all the time. If you want to chat on the public chat that we have going on right now, you gotta be subscribed at least 5 minutes. All right. So make sure to like, subscribe, share the video so we can get more traffic. The Kazers at Afros. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, I can show you a lot of pale skin people with Afros. Anyways. So we're going to talk about these studies they conducted in the 90s and determined like as fact. But again, they didn't change the history books. They didn't really emphasize the significance about these findings. They downplayed it, you know. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, okay? Real quick. Let me just share right here. Okay. All right. So what I'm showing you right now, guys, is one of my playlists, right? I really want to invite you to go ahead and if you're new to my channel or you just don't remember and you watch these videos, is these newspaper reports, very old newspaper reports, many from the 1800s, a lot from the early 1900s, of what they were finding in the Americas, right? We went over so many like things that they were calling Egyptian mummies, Egyptian hieroglyphs, buried, all that stuff. And even in many of the reports, we found out that a lot of these American ancient mummies were being sent to European museums. Many of them, or they have disappeared after the Smithsonian Institute came around and got their hold on them. So if you haven't watched that, I would really emphasize to watch, the series, just like you binge watch things, you watch movies, Netflix shows, you can make time for these videos. Most of them are just an hour long, You start from part 1. So the playlist is called Amazing All Newspaper Reports of America, And go ahead and check them out, guys. Go ahead and check them out. You're going to see how many times they wrote how they found some mummies looking like Egyptian mummies, and they send them to the museums in Europe. That's very significant for today's presentation. Very significant, because you're going to see that the tests they conducted on these mummies, supposed Egyptian mummies, were not in Egypt. They were in England, Germany, France, and places in Europe. So we are to assume, right? They want us to assume or think they actually found them in what they call Egypt today, right? But they're in the European museums, and they never showed us the excavations and all that, right? So just something to really think about. And I'm going to show you where, I'm going to show you the reports. Okay. Let me see how many people we got. We only got 60 people, they don't send out notifications to my subscribers, or either my subscribers ain't interested in real history. They're just interested in certain videos, and I don't know why they follow me, honestly. I got 164, but I never get that many, 1,000 subscribers. I never get those kind of views. So I don't know what's going on, but right. So guys, just like get off the DNA stuff. Get off the DNA stuff, like, and try to stay on topic. Okay, world time news. What do you, man? Don't go off news, man. Don't go off topic, man, because you will get. What are you talking about, man? We ain't talking about Tupac. We ain't talking about none of that, man. Like, come on, guys, stay on topic, right? Because then people get distracted. Maybe you won't get distracted, but you put something in the comment, people start commenting on it. They get distracted. So let's stay on topic, guys, please. Okay. So real quick, I'm just gonna show you like, just some websites, like, some random websites. Remembering the time unexplained cocaine was found in ancient mummies. Remember that? I know, again, I grew up hearing this. But I never really saw who conducted the studies, where they got it from, how did they determine all this. So like it says here, finding cocaine is always an exciting experience. I highly disagree with that, okay? Yet one that rarely rewrites ancient history as we know it. Usually the ordeal just ends up in a wild frenzy of deviant debauchery. But sometimes, once in a great while, cocaine is found in a place where it shouldn't be. Do you guys understand what's the significance about finding cocaine in other parts of the world, not in America? Do you guys understand that? What's the significance? Coca is any of the four cultivated plants in the family Erythroxylaceae, native to Western South America, native to the Americas, native to America, native to America. So why are they finding this in ancient Egyptian mummies? And don't start with the conjectures. Oh, easy, Kurimeo, because they are, ancient Egyptians. We came here and then we left. We just came to get cocaine. We like to get high. Yeah. But the truth is, they didn't just use this for drugs. They like to get high, but for like numbing, like operations and different uses that the coca plant can have, you know? So they got cocaine, right? Not only cocaine, but we'll see also tobacco, right? Tobacco. And what's the significance about tobacco as well? Tobacco. And literally the word tobacco is supposed to be a Taino Arawakan word, right? And tobacco is only found or used in the Americas. Cultivation sites in Mexico dating back 1400 to 1000 BC. Many Native American tribes traditionally grow and use tobacco. Historically, people from the Northeast woodland cultures have carried tobacco in pouches as a readily accepted trade item. You guys understand? Both these plants are native to the Americas. Native to the Americas. So they shouldn't be found in so-called Egyptian mummies. They have never confirmed that or proven that people from what they call Egypt today in ancient times came here. It's conjectured because they find things like this, but they have never been able to prove things like that. That's how they try to like explain certain things, but they don't even want to explain that. We're gonna read what the gatekeepers, the scientific gatekeepers, after they did these studies, the little excuses they were using to try to write this off is silly, And we've already debunked all that, like, all right? So I'm gonna mention certain things as well that we have gone over. So again, remembering the time, right? So sometimes cocaine is found in places where it shouldn't be, such as the case of the mysterious cocaine mummies buried in Egypt over 3,000 years ago. Buried in Egypt, huh? What Egypt? Remember, where's the true Egypt, guys? Where's the true ancient Egypt, so-called Egypt? That's a Greek word, tamari, beloved land. The Western land, right, where all the deities of Egypt came from. As Herodotus says, the ancestors of all humans, as Herodotus says, including so-called Egyptians. That was in the Americas. Yeah, okay. These long-dead VIPs were found with traces of cocaine and nicotine in them. And it's almost inconceivable finding that brings into question everything we thought we knew about history. This should have rewritten history, and it didn't. They downplayed all this. The deeply disturbing, strange part of all this is that neither the cocoa plant, from which cocaine is derived, nor the tobacco plant, which produces nicotine, are native to Egypt, right? Native to modern Egypt. Nor are they native to Africa. They're also not from Africa, right? Your supposed motherland. Yet all these food crops and all these plants and all that's coming from the Americas. We've proven it. We're talking about the real motherland, grandma's land. So it's not native to so-called Egypt. It's not native to Africa or Europe or Asia. Those two plants are indigenous only to South America, all right, and North America, all right, which could have some tectonic implications for our perception of history. Yeah, it should have, but it didn't. This was written back in 2018. Svetlana Balabanova, a German scientist, made the discovery in 1992. She was examining several mummies at the German State Museum. Where? At the German State Museum of Egyptian Art. Not in Egypt, not in Cairo, but in Germany. These mummies were in Germany. When she discovered traces of the narcotics in multiple different ancient corpses. She realized how severe the implications of her findings were, so she tested and retested and tested her results again to be certain that there was no mistake. Sure enough, there wasn't. American drugs had somehow ended up in these Egyptian mummies, okay? American so-called drugs. You know? Okay, so I just want to point something out. Stefan Mason, you're new to my channel. Okay, he says, check out the book When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. See, over here, we call him Horace Butthurt. That's what we call him here. Horace Butthurt. Just ask 432 to drop radio why we do that. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. In case you don't know, there's this author called Horace Butler. He wrote a pretty good book. It's called When Rocks Cry Out. And the thing is about his book, right, is that he still says, he's still Pan-African, Stefan. He's still Pan-African. He still says that they came from Africa and built all that stuff. He's adding the hijack still. So he's not, you got to dodge a lot of hijack in his book, even though you get a lot of good drop. He's still saying they came from Africa. And that's part of his book he cannot prove. That part of his book he cannot prove. He's just basing what he's saying based on what he assumes is supposed to be old world culture on that other side of the world, which he's found over here. And then phenotypes of certain stone structures, just like Van Sertima, right? Going off phenotypes. So yeah, we don't plus, okay, so I'm not done. So when I did my Jerusalem video, like the city of David in Peru video, it's like Sawaman, he actually gave me a copyright on that video. He made YouTube take it down. I had a copyright strike because he says, I copied his phrase. He literally said, you can't say Jerusalem in Peru because that's his word. He taught it first. So I couldn't say that. When in that video, I never even read from his book. I found all that out before I even knew about Horace Butler. I actually got this from Drop Nation. 432 the Drop Radio and everybody else in Drop Nation who 7, 8 years ago were already on this without reading Horace Butler's book. Okay? So Horace Butthurt, as we call him, Horace Butthurt, he's a best-selling author. You know, he's connected. Most likely a Freemason. And he's a gatekeeper. Even though he's giving you a little bit of truth, he's a gatekeeper. He's still saying that they came from Africa, built all these ruins, and then left, right? What happened to them? So they came and built the old world here, right? He's saying this is the old world, but he said it was Africans that came here, yet they didn't do it on that side over there. Make it make sense. All right? So if you didn't know that, he had my video taken down, right? So I disputed it. I disputed it with YouTube. It took me 6 months to reinstate my video. It took me 3 months to get rid of that copyright strike. I tried reaching out to him, to talk to him as man to man and see if we can understand why he did that. And all he kept telling me is he's gonna sue me and he's gonna take my channel down. All right, he's gonna take my channel down. You think I'm making this up? Let's see if it comes up. Let me see if it comes up. There we go. When Horace Butthurt cries out. When Horace Butthurt, not his name of the title of his book. When Horace Butthurt cries out. See, that's the thing. You guys don't know the history. You know how long I've been here. You just got to my channel. We've been here almost 8 years dropping videos. City of David. This is the name of my old video. City of David, the real ancient Jerusalem, Peru. The navel of the world. We literally went over this the other day, right? So you guys can see. Hold on, let me show you. So as you guys can see in the bottom, content manually detected, claimant Horace Butler, Stone River Publications at Gmail, policy video taken down. All right, they literally took my video down without asking, without seeing if he. So when I disputed it, they determined that I didn't copy him. There is no copyrights here. And they reinstated my video after 6 months. And I bet you he felt like a salty little itch. All right. He got an evil heart. This guy got an evil heart. That's what I'm saying. You got to know who you follow. I know, oh, it's all about the info. I don't, well, that's you. I follow people who got real integrity and a good heart too. These are gatekeepers and agents, man. When Horace Butler cries out. Gave me a strike and everything. Look, removed by Horace Butler. Look, I'm showing you right now. It says, reason copyright takedown request removed by Horace Butler on November 5th, 2017. All right, that's how long ago that happened. And not only that, guys, not only that, he didn't just mess with me. He went over to 432 The Drop Radio, our good friend Con Drop, excellent, very heart, real brother, spiritual brother, Hawa, Hawa children, and he did the same thing to him, and he had his channel, literally, not just the video, but he had his channel suspended. He gave him 3 strikes. He had his channel suspended for like 9 months. It was a dark moment for Drop because we didn't know if he was gonna be able to get his channel back and everything. And I'm like, damn, this dude is dirty. This dude's a straight agent, man. Are you guys hearing me or what? Talking about Horace Butler. Don't bring up that name here. Now you know. Now you know the kind of person he is. Like, this is the thing you guys don't know. There's a lot of things that happen in the background. There's a lot of things that happen in the background. You understand? So I have to explain what fair use is. I'm showing where I got the idea that the city of David is right there in Sacsayhuaman. I didn't use his book. I didn't even read from his book. You understand? I'm showing you guys what I showed you the other day, right? The 3 walls, the citadel, Sacsayhuaman. I showed this the other day, literally, the navel of the world. Cusco means the navel of the world. I didn't get that from him. The Millo or Muyu. I didn't get that from him. All right? So now you know what you got to say now. What you got to say. Did you know this, Stefan Mason? Did you know this? Please answer. Be real since you brought him up. And do you still see him the same? Do you still honor him for what he tried to do to Drop and me? He literally said he was going to sue me and take my channel down. For what? That's an evil ass heart, man. Wicked. That's wickedness, man. You gatekeeper. Plus you lying on your book talking about it was Africans here. That's why he was mad. That's the real reason he was mad, because I was debunking him. Me and Drop debunk him when we're showing you that America's the true old world. Okay, you guys heard me? I'm done. Thank you. Hey, Simba, I don't know why you're talking about DNA stuff still, man. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, bro, get off that DNA stuff and do your genealogy, bro. Do your genealogy, your family tree, bro. Let's go back to the subject, all right? I guess you guys understand Horace butthurt now. What did I fall into here? Okay. Don't worry about Carrie. You're good. You're good, man. We're good. So, previously, Balabanova had worked as a forensic toxicologist for police in Germany, and for years her results were considered proof positive in criminal indictments. So this is somebody who was taken very seriously. She's a scientist. Her people's lives depended on her studies, right? So naturally, she thought that that would be the case in this instance as well, especially considering she was using exactly the same drug testing procedures. But when Balabanova went public, she was met with utter contempt from her colleagues. All right? And the historical community at large. They hated, just like Horace Butthurt, they hated the idea of what her findings might entail. The whole of ancient history will need to be re-examined. You guys understand? Rewritten and reevaluated through the lens of this new information that the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Mesoamericans had achieved. So this is what they're seeing, and they're saying, oh, they probably came here, because that's what Balabanova designs really, at the time in the 90s, still thought that ancient Egypt was over there. So they're like, the only way they can explain it is they had to have come here. They had to have come here. But no, guys, ancient Egypt was right here. Ancient Egypt was right here. Ancient Egypt was right here. We just did a video the other day going over some of the information we've gone over before, right? Did you guys miss this live? Did you guys miss the live? Not the lady, not this AI lady. That's an AI. I can tell that's AI right here. That looks so fake. All right. We just literally the other day, right? Literally. Egypt, but this is Egypt. So-called ancient Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word to marry, beloved land. The civilized land. Remember what we went over? The civilized land. What did they find here? Know what? All right. Like, I shouldn't have to be reminding, but a lot of people don't watch every video. So I have to remind people. They might click, like a lot of Pan-Africans might click on this, you know, just because they like it. Oh, yeah, we the ancient Egyptians, we went off to the Americas. So they might click on it, not understanding what we're really saying. Okay? So what she found should have changed history, should have re-examined and re-evaluated ancient history. As the accepted story goes, the Americas were only discovered, see? That's what they tell us. Okay, so then it's talking about maybe they did navigate here, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I'm just showing you some quick things, right? I'm just showing you, this is an ancient origins. Did ancient Egyptians trade nicotine? That's tobacco. And cocaine with the New World? What do you mean if they trade? You're seeing it in reverse, man. Let's hear what this article is saying real quick, guys.
Did ancient Egyptians trade nicotine and cocaine with the New World? It has long been said that Christopher Columbus was not the first foreigner to step foot in the Americas by the time he reached there in 1492. Among the theories put forward is that the Vikings, Chinese, Greeks, and Italians may have all reached the New World before Columbus. Now new evidence suggests that the ancient Egyptians had been to the Americas as early as 1000 BC, and for a surprising reason.
So again, they're seeing it in reverse. They're only saying that because they're finding cocaine and tobacco in these mummies that are in Europe. Not even in, they didn't do the tests in mummies that were in Cairo or fake Egypt. These mummies were in Europe. So we are to assume they got them from fake Egypt when they could have been coming from the Americas and tricked all of us. That's why they have cocaine and tobacco, guys. Be logical. This is when people need to be logical. Knowing this is ancient Egypt and they have cocaine and tobacco in these mummies, let's be logical. But it seems a lot of people dumb themselves down because they want to stick to their personal beliefs. They want to stick to their out of Africa's theories and Darwinism, monkey bones.
German scientist Dr. Svetlana Balabanova was studying the mummified remains of Lady Hinatawi, a member of the ruling class, when she made a surprising discovery. The mummy contained traces of nicotine and cocaine. Disbelief in the findings led to alternative hypotheses, for example, that the tests were contaminated or the mummies were fakes. But these ideas were disproved and the mummy and the test results were found to be authentic.
Okay. So they try to gatekeep. They said, oh no, it probably got contaminated. Somebody put to bed. But those were all debunked. These were authentic findings, guys. This is not even part of mainstream. Okay. So real quick, this is the actual study from 1992. All right. From the Institute of Anthropology and Human Genetics of the University in München, Germany. All right. Springer and Verlag, 1992. First identification of drugs in Egyptian mummies. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're going to read this. It says the use of drugs in ancient societies permits insight into the social behavior and medical practices of the past. As part of an ongoing investigation of hallucinogenic substances in ancient societies, this preliminary study reports that, listen, the identification of cocaine, hashish, right? That's marijuana, and nicotine in Egyptian mummies. In so-called Egyptian mummies. Now you want to conjecture and say, oh, that's because Egyptians went over there, Kurimeo. Very simple. Yeah, that's you conjecturing. Prove that. That part you can't prove, right? You just want to say that because it goes against what you believe. So you got to come up with some explanation. So she's saying we took samples of soft tissue, bone, and hair from 9 mummies. Not just one. All right? I'm going to show you way more than... I'm going to show you that they actually did this on other artifacts and bones they found in Europe, not just supposedly Egyptian mummies. So drugs were detected by radioimmunoassay. How do you say? Radioimmunoassay and gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. All right, all you scientists, buffs out there, and geeks. Those But yeah, you science experts, all right? You understand what they're saying. So what is ancient Egyptian, Rabaka? You mean the Americas, right? When anytime you're saying ancient Egyptian, that's the Americas. I hope that's what you're saying. Hope you're not still holding on to that's ancient Egypt over there. That's a theme park over there, man. I'm also interested in the very first comment I got today in my chat. The very first comment, if you guys scroll up, you guys see Kai Amada says, what would you say about the Orion Belt stars alignment with Pyramid of... She put Gaza, but it's Giza, and Nile River as parallel reflection Milky Way. What about it? See, that's the thing. A lot of you just study what they tell you from over there, not knowing that many of our pyramids in the Americas align with the Orion Belt the same exact way as the Giza. And the Milky Way, what you talking about, the Milky Way? the Mississippi River? What you talking about? The Nile? Nile means great river. Mississippi means great river. Like you guys, a lot of you should catch up. So I don't know if you want to answer what was your point, Kayamata. What was your point with that? Because a lot of you try to question me and pretend to be just wondering, like, oh, I just had a question up, but you're actually questioning me because you don't want to believe what we're showing. All right? Sorry, I got off topic. I just want her to, him or her to answer. Wait, hold up. What's going on in the chat? Hold up. Kemet. All right. Kemet, again. Oh, man. It's disappointing, guys. Like, these people come, like, Rabaka's new to my channel because I never seen him. I've seen them comment recently in my lives and stuff, but not nowhere, not time, no time before that. We've been here 8 years. Kemet, guys, Kemet. Once again, Rabba, listening to me? Are you listening, Rabba? Kemet means rich, black, fertile soil. What about Kemet? It means rich, black, fertile soil. We have plenty of rich, black, fertile soil in the Americas. What is your point? Break out of those terms, those fake definitions that you think they are. Like Kemet does not mean a landmass in Africa. Break out of that indoctrination and bias and Pan-Africanism, Afrocentric stuff. That's just modern Egypt. That's a country called Egypt. They named that recently Egypt. So again, when you're saying ancient Egypt, you mean the Americas. That's not ancient over there, man. All right? Get with the program, man. Now stop, guys, please. Like, if you keep going with Pan-African ideas, you're gonna get timed out. Like, we're not here to try to debate stuff. I'm literally showing you that they're finding cocaine and tobacco in supposed Egyptian mummies. That stuff doesn't grow over there, guys. And you cannot prove that anybody came from that side and came over here, got high, smoked a little tobacco and left. You cannot even prove that. So get off that. Well, the moderators sometimes, they don't go as harsh as I. And it's hard to go get this harsh using text. They need to understand. So Harry, Parastis, if you don't like me going at people in the chat, you don't have to watch. All right? This is very necessary. Trust me. I have to repeat myself every time. Every time. So there might be thousands of Rabakas, thousands of people like him who are thinking the same thing. They just don't text it on the live chat because they know what's up. Or they're not subscribed. They can't. You got to be subscribed to be in the live chat. So this is not just to Rabaka. That's what I'm saying. Rabaka, you were here when I was reading the thing about, and I'm told you already ancient Egypt was here. I showed you. You haven't watched my old videos that I told you to go watch. You guys, come on. I got 8 years, over 1,100 videos. How many have you really watched? You can't just come here and watch the new ones and think you know what I'm saying. You're missing a lot of context. Let's keep going. It says the Egyptian mummy material for this study included 7 mummified heads, adults, 2 females, 5 males, 1 complete adult female, and 1 incomplete adult male mummy. The mummies were dated at a period spanning from approximately the 3rd intermediate period, 1070 BC, to the Ptolemaic Roman period, okay? That's what they're dating it, with their so-called carbon dating, all right? It's all good, Harry. Appreciate you understanding. Thank you, man. I'm sorry I gotta get harsh like that, guys, but it's like sometimes it's like when people act like little children, like you gotta explain things like a million different ways until they finally get it. Then literally you're forcing me to talk to you like children. Like I gotta, like a school teacher when the children ain't listening, when the school children ain't listening. You get what I'm saying? Hey, they force me to do that. I have to do it sometimes, guys. Let's go. For the following investigations, samples were taken from head hair, skin, and muscle from head and abdomen, so even from inside the body. So how are they gonna say contaminated? That was contaminated. It was in the air. Somebody was smoking while they were conducting the test. So, as well as bone tissue, it's in the body, it's in the DNA already, like, and abdomen as well as bone tissue from the head. Processing of the hair samples has already been described elsewhere. Specimens of the soft tissue and bones were pulverized using a steel ball at 180 degrees Celsius. 1 G was dissolved into 0.9% NaCl solution, homogenized ultrasonically, and centrifuged. All right, you see all the explaining how they did it. So you guys, in case any of the scientists out here listening have any doubts. Cocaine is an ancient drug. Well, Well, the coca plant, guys. Listen, guys. I know you guys, when you hear cocaine, you're thinking Colombian, and you're thinking Pablo Escobar, and you're thinking what you see in the hood, what you see people using, sniffing. Coca plant is not only used that way. Okay, coca plant, you can literally use the plants, you can extract it different ways. All right, you can use it for operations. You can use it as a numbing solution. So it's not just to inhale, guys. Okay, it's not just to inhale. Rabaka, now you just okay, let it go, man. You're just babbling now, bro. You're gonna keep getting your comments deleted. Like you're just babbling. Don't worry about it, man. I'm just telling you, Kemet doesn't mean a place in Africa. Break out of that. That means rich black soil. And ancient so-called Egypt was right here. So when we're talking about they found mummies from ancient Egypt, and I'm telling you, ancient Egypt was here. So where are they coming from? And now I'm showing you that they got cocaine and tobacco in them. That's American products. Use your logical sense, man. Use your logical sense and stop babbling, man. Forget about what you think you know, guys. You gotta empty your cup sometimes. It's wise people listen sometimes. I did that for years. I know what I know, guys, because I listened to people for years. And then I started verifying and doing my own research. Let go. Empty your cup. Especially if you want to be here commenting. Are you here to learn? Or are you here to try to prove what you think you know? Okay. Thank you, Rashad, for explaining that. So table 1, right? This is what they're the numbers, right? Cocaine, hashish, nicotine, you see? Hair, soft tissue, bone. It's all over the mummies. It's all over the mummies. The immunological determination of cocaine and hashish, THC, Mary Jane, showed the presence of these drugs in all 9 samples. And all the mummies, and I bet you those were the only ones they had there. And all the mummies, guys, nicotine was detectable in 8 cases. This is the first study which shows the presence of cocaine, hashish, and nicotine in Egyptian mummies dating back to about 1000 BC. This means that these 3 organic substances are capable of surviving in hair, soft tissue, and bones for circa 3,000 years under favorable conditions. However, it cannot be determined at present whether the concentrations measured represent the original amount of these drugs during life or immediately after death, or what kind of decomposition might have taken place in the past 3,000 years. So basically saying they could have even been higher. The results could have been higher, but as time went on, they could have been, the amount they found could have been lowered, right? However, it cannot determine the present. Okay, that's what we already read. Yeah, however, it cannot be determined at present whether the concentrations measured represent. Okay, we read that already. Since the 3 drugs were not only detected in hair and soft tissue, but also in bones, the tissue most frequently encountered in archaeological human remains, the results open up an entirely new field of research. Listen, this was she thought. This is what she thought when she was writing this in 1992. She thought, whoa, this is gonna rewrite history. Look what I'm finding here. And I'm reporting to everybody and I'm showing the results. Remember, this is a forensic scientist. Remember, she helped police solve crimes and murders, and she was the go-to person in Germany. Very, very prominent scientist who's doing this. She said this should literally, change history. It opens up an entirely new field of research which unravels aspects of past human lifestyle far beyond basic biological reconstruction, right? Most important clues to ancient social behavior are expected with regard to childcare, since our results are in excellent agreement. with a recommendation from Papyrus Ebers. Number, and you see the number. We should calm crying babies. We should calm the crying babies. The Pan-Africans. You should calm the crying babies. Poppy seeds, fly droppings found at the wall shall be mixed, mashed, and drank on 4 days. The child stops crying immediately. Translation by the author, right? So they're talking about cyanide, but that was funny. Moreover, since the use and abuse of hallucinogenic drugs contribute to major health and social problems today, the history of drug production and intake in various parts of the world might add helpful information. For comparison, the detection of these drugs in the hair of addicts in modern society produce the following results, all right? So you see the numbers? If they would have tested these people back in 3,000 years ago, supposedly when they found, like, when they're from, the numbers would have been higher. This is what they find in today, people using nicotine and cocaine and weed. Drugs have seemingly played a regular role in the daily life of human populations for a long time. But drugs dependency depends on how the drug is consumed, whether orally, by inhalation, or by injection. Comparison of drug use and its level in the consumer tissue between populations, where drug intake has been endemic for several thousands of years, and in modern Western societies, should be helpful in detecting both the quantity and quality of consumed hallucinogenic drugs, okay? And that's all her sources, and that's it. Like, that was a very simple article that she posted. Hey, we found cocaine and nicotine, okay? I'm going to read another little article here real quick. Okay? Archaeology Review. New World drugs. Again, so-called New World. But what did we learn the other day? What did we learn? That the New World is actually the old, and the old world the new. I mean, we've been proving this for years. This is the true old world. They've been telling us history in reverse. And that's why there's people that are still so confused, like Rabba and everybody else who are stuck on these, like, they're not understanding the concept of what we're showing, what we're proving. A lot of you still stuck on your own indoctrinations, on your own hijacks, on your own personal beliefs and preferences and biases. So New World drugs and Old World mummies, huh? See how we got to dodge the hijack every time. They go show a mummy with a cigar. Look at that. A few times a year, someone brings up the fact that drugs like nicotine and cocaine were found in ancient Egyptian mummies, right? We've been talking about this for years, but nobody's actually ever shown the studies. I'm showing that to you for the first time today. Guys, I grew up hearing this because I've always been into history and unsolved mysteries and history and all that. I was always into that since I was a little kid. So I've heard of this. I never saw the studies though, and I never understood the implications, really. I always thought they were testing mummies that they found over there, like literally buried in that part of the world, literally. Like they dug them out and tested them. No, these mummies were in Europe. They were in Europe. So he's saying every once in a while we hear the same stories, right? That they found nicotine and cocaine in ancient Egyptian mummies, which they conclude it must mean the ancient Egyptians traveled to the Americas well before Columbus made the journey. That's what they assume and conjecture because they believe that the ancient Egypt was on that side of the world when it wasn't. It was over here. It's more logical than what they're trying to say. It's more logical than that. You gotta have true context. So this article takes a look at this claim, concludes by a suggestion that should be the more parsimonious explanation. First, a little background. In 1992, Balabanova, Parshi, and Pirsik wrote on a one-page new paper in the Nature Wissenschaften called The First Identification of Drugs in Egyptian Mummies. Literally, this is the article here, guys, that what I just showed you. I just showed you the original, okay? Nobody has ever shown you that. What they describe was the discovery of chemical signatures of THC, cocaine, and nicotine among the mummified remains of 9 individuals comprised of 7 heads severed from the bodies, 1 incomplete mummy and 1 complete mummy. Right? We got the drop already. They were found in the hair, in the tissue, in the bone. Okay, we got all that. Says Parche, along with Nerlich, then wrote a paper for the Fresenius Journal of Analytical Chemistry, 1995, called "The Presence of Drugs in Different Tissues of Egyptian Mummies." All right, like that's something we could also find. I think I did run into that, but I was like, okay, I got enough. I mean, we don't need to keep reading the same thing over and over, right? In which they examined a mummy dating to 900 BC, according to their carbon datings, right? Using the same techniques as Parche did with Balabanova in 1992. In this bit of research, what Parche and Nerlich discovered was that while the THC was very probably inhaled the weed, right? The nicotine and cocaine were ingested, since they were found in highest concentrations in the liver and intestines. You guys understand that? You see? Balabanova teamed up with 5 new researchers, more scientists, apart from Parche and Parsec, right? And ran the same test. Listen, they did the same test on 71 more mummies excavated from Christian Sayala, Egyptian Nubia, between 600 and 1100 C. Again, they say they excavate, that they got them from there, but when you find out that where they did the test, they were already in European museums. They were already in European museums. They again found cocaine. Listen, guys, I can't make this up. Oh, you thought it was just one mummy, right? You thought it was just one mummy, right? Again, they did more tests on 71 more mummies, apart from the 9 original ones they did. All right, that's already 80 mummies. And they found that 80% of them had cocaine. Come on now, use your logic, guys. Where are they really finding these mummies? Where did they really take them from? And that's why I was saying, if you guys watch this series that I was showing you at the beginning, these newspaper reports from the 1800s and 1900s, they're telling you they're finding what appears to look like Egyptian mummies. That's what they were calling them. In North America, deep underground, in caves, and the mounds all over. And they were bringing them to European museums. Literally, they literally said that, because at that time they weren't thinking conspiracy. They were just telling you, they're just reporting. Oh yeah, they took them to the European museums, right? So when they're doing tests on mummies in European museums, I mean, you got to be logical. They're finding cocaine and tobacco. Come on now. And we know this is a true old world. Come on now. 80% of the mummies, all right, already 80, had cocaine. They again tested bone hair, so the concentrations in the livers and intestines would be unknown. However, there was a distinct inverse correlation between age of the individual and the concentration of cocaine. In other words, the highest concentrations were in the mummies of those that were the youngest at the time of death. This would seem to correspond to what Parche and Ehrlich found, which is that the method of consumption was ingestion rather than smoking or inhalation. Okay? They weren't sniffing it. They were eating it somehow or with something. Children from 1 to 6 years of age are less likely to smoke or inhale drugs rather than ingest it by mouth. It is also important to note that Parche and Ehrlich did not seem so eager to tie the nicotine and cocaine to New World origins. You see, they left that out. They left the big detail out. When they were doing this test and telling the results to people, they didn't want to mention, hey, by the way, nicotine and cocaine are from America. Implications and assumptions, okay? Assumptions. The chief implication by the French crowd and by Balabanova and others is that the previous unthinkable must be true. It has to be true. Ancient Egyptians traveled to the New World, or they were already here, guys. This is ancient Egypt. That's the only thing they can conclude and assume, because they believed in the out of Africa theories. They believed all that fake narratives that they were told in school, that ancient Egypt was on that side of the world. So that's the only thing they can conclude, guys. Something that's unthinkable. You guys understand, like, man, I just wish you like people understood how deep this is. Like how I'm seeing it. Like how I've always thought about it. And they brought back tobacco in the form of either nicotina, right? They brought back tobacco. No, they were from here. They were growing tobacco here. This would be a wonderful and certainly newsworthy discovery if true. If true. I know of no archaeologist that wouldn't be ecstatic to learn that this could be supported by evidence. And this is precisely what Balabanova and few of her colleagues genuinely thought they had. But here's the problem. For this explanation to be true, there are some not too insignificant assumptions that must also be true. So listen, this is what I'm saying, the arguments. This is how they downplayed what she was finding and what all these scientists were finding. In order to accept that ancient Egyptians between 1000 BC and 1100 CE traveled back and forth to South America, bringing back tobacco and coke leaf, we must assume that the ancient Egyptians were seaworthy. Of course they were, we know that for sure, but they were from here. They didn't find the journey significant enough to write about. Oh, they left out that part. Oh, we went over to the Americas and we found these people. They were growing, maize. They were growing tobacco. They had cocaine. They left all that out, huh? Because they didn't need to write about that because they were from here. They didn't think they had to. They were from here. There were no sources of THC, nicotine, cocaine available from Africa, Near East, or Asia. You see? Uh-oh. No THC. What? In Africa or Asia, huh? They want to say that it originated in the Middle East. Like we didn't have weed over here, guys. Come on now. There are some other assumptions as well, but these would seem to be the most significant. For the first assumption, we know Egyptian. Okay, so they try to break it down, right? So there was definitely hashish. Okay, we know in the Middle East had hashish. We know that. It says, but that believer in the fringes of archaeology would certainly be quick to point out that the nicotine cocaine with a reason and aha, nicotine. Today we get our nicotine mostly from Nicotiana rustica and Nicotiana tabacum. Both are indigenous to the Americas. And both contain a natural pesticide in their leaves, which is nicotine and rustica. So contains up to 18% nicotine between zero. Okay, that's the numbers. Both of these plants are from the Solanaceae family, which include belladonna, tomatoes, potatoes, and eggplant, all American food crops, original to America too. So you want to say Italians created pizza and pasta? So where did they get tomatoes from then? How did Italians get tomatoes? How did they make their pasta where tomatoes were from America? Trust me, there's a lot of things that would prove America's a true old world, especially with food crops, if people really thought about certain things. And yet they also want us to think that potatoes are from Ireland, right? They kind of trying to brainwash us into thinking, oh, the potato famine, the Irish, like that was original to Ireland, but potatoes are original to the Andes Mountains. You get what I'm trying to say, guys? You mean French fries? You mean Peruvian fries? You mean South American fries, huh? Each of which have small amounts of nicotine. Wow, all these have nicotine too. I didn't know that. Still, isn't it likely that these Egyptians were consuming large quantities of eggplant? So where might they find enough nicotine to metabolize and show up in Balabanova's test if they didn't trade with or travel to South America? You see? So that's the only thing they can conclude. They have to have come over here. They have to have been over here. Yeah, they were, but they didn't travel. They were over here originally, indigenous to this part of the world. This is the true old world. So the answer is probably nicotine africana. About 2% nicotine. No, sorry. They found, you saw the numbers, right, guys? Way more than 2%. Yeah. So that you already debunked yourself. So they're trying to say maybe it's from this one in Africa that only has 2% nicotine. So another explanation, blah 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 blah. So they try to explain, trying to explain why they're finding this stuff in Egyptian mummies, and that's when they dumb themselves down. They practice cognitive dissonance, and then they start conjecturing like a mofo. Cocaine, today we get our cocaine from either Erythroxylum coca or Erythroxylum novogranatense, both native to South America. Okay, maybe we is a little too inclusive. Yeah, some people get their cocaine, right? Yeah, we don't mess with that shit. If any children are watching me, anybody that uses this, like, guys, stop using it. Cocaine will kill you guys, like straight kill you. It'll turn you into a zombie. It literally numbs your brain, turns you into a zombie, puts you in this dark world where everything just turns into evilness, evil thoughts, evil darkness. It's depressing. It kills you guys. Stop using that. Don't use that. Children, don't ever go near that crap. So how did Africans in Egypt get a hold of cocaine? It says they picked it. So they could only have picked it from America. So if you're saying they picked it, okay, when did they come here then? What ship? What year? When did they write about that? Where's the proof? So there's some forms of etrixolis in Africa, but there's not cocaine. Mauritius. See, anything in West Africa that can easily be explained by us bringing it over there and planting it in West Africa. And we know definitely ancient Americans went to Morocco, Mauritania, and all that, had a colony, supposedly Atlantis, right? Atlanteans. The Western Ethiopians, as the Greeks called them, the Western Ethiopians. Exactly, why didn't they grow it? So what is the conclusions? Okay. So I just want to show you guys what they're saying, okay? So this is another little article. It's not just about the so-called mummies and cocaine found in them, but they do mention that. But it's just talking about pre-Columbian contact. So diffusionism. So a lot of people they'll go with the idea that yeah, there was old world stuff here and artifacts and culture, but they always try to say that it came from somewhere else and it wasn't indigenous to the Americas, because they want to still believe that America was uninhabited and that the first anybody that came was Columbus or Salvador Fernandez Sarco. That's his real name, right? Sephardic Jew. Hey, Miss April, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, Miss April. Make sure to check out the members only videos. That's what's up, Joseph. Good job, man. Yeah, we don't, guys, your life, you're worth it. You are important. Don't, talk to somebody. If you are in a drug abuse right now, if you have depressive thoughts and all that, I hope like learning this stuff gives you hope and helps in some way, and just know you're important, and you can get out of that. Take care of yourself. Yeah, the devil's dandruff. Yeah. So that's what this article is about. I'm not gonna read this. I just added up. This one, let me see. This one is about. Hold on. Continue. Skip that. Okay. So they were saying earlier, right, that one of the Egyptian mummies that Balabanova did was Henutau, or Henutau. Henutau was an ancient Egyptian priestess. So she was an ancient American priestess. You understand? She was from America. Talking about ancient Egypt, right? Talking about America. She was an ancient American priestess, so-called Egyptian, from Tamari during the 21st dynasty, whose remains were mummified. She is mainly known for being one of the so-called cocaine mummies. She's a cocaine mummy. Okay? Now look what it says. Look what it says right here. Look what they admit right away. Little to nothing is known about her life. I can't make this up, guys. This is what I'm saying. Like, so if you don't know nothing about her life, why are you saying she's from ancient Egypt over there? But you're so confident to say she's from over there, yet you know nothing about her. She was a priestess and enchantress in the temple of Amun at Thebes. They say Palenque looks like Thebes. You guys knew that? I don't know if that's why you gotta watch. They call it the Thebes of America. Le Plongeon, Dupax, the explorer, when he went to Palenque, he said, "This is the Thebes. This is the real Thebes, Palenque." And after her death, her body was embalmed and buried at Deir al-Bahari necropolis. After the discovery of her tomb, her mummy became property of King of Bavaria. Listen, likely Ludwig I, who later donated to the Staatliche Sammlung or Kunst of Munich, where it is still located today. Again, guys, that's where they did the test, in Germany, not in Egypt. They tell us they got it from so-called ancient Egypt. That's all they tell us. But they want us, again, that's a trick, that's a spell. They want you to think ancient Egypt means the fake Egypt. So again, they're doing all these tests on mummies that are in European museums, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Check out all the reports we have gone over, newspaper reports telling you they found Egyptian mummies, or what appeared to look just like Egyptian mummies, same way, embalmed the same way, just like in Egypt, and they were bringing them to European museums. They were bringing them to European museums. So it's conjecture when you're doing the test on this mummy in Germany to say that it was found over there, okay? In 1992, German toxicologist Svetlana Balabanova discovered traces of cocaine, hashish, and nicotine in Henutai's hair, as well as on the hair of several other mummies at the museum, okay? 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 Henutau, an ancient priestess of America. You are remembered now. And your true story is going to be told. Your true story is being told, okay? Let's move on. History of the ancient world, American drugs and Egyptian mummies. A review of the evidence, right? So this is from the Colorado State University, right? Samuel A. Wells. So this was a very hard article to find, but I actually found the original. When you guys see here, it says click here to read this article from the Colorado State University. You click on that, and this is what opens, okay? This is what opens right here. Again, this is faculty.ucr.edu. Okay, that's from their website. University of Colorado, okay? The recent findings of cocaine, nicotine, and hashish and Egyptian mummies by Balanova, etc., all have been criticized on grounds that contamination of the mummies may have occurred. May have. Oh, that's not real. That's the gatekeepers, guys. Again, it's already been authenticated many times, and she is a legit scientist. She is a legit scientist. The gatekeepers also say improper techniques may have been used, may have. So they even guessing when they're trying to debunk this. May have. Chemical decomposition may have produced the compounds in question. Now you're really reaching. Recent mummies of drug users were mistakenly evaluated. You see that? What recent mummies? They're telling you these are the ones in the museums that have officially been said they're ancient. So all that gets thrown away. This is what I'm saying, guys. That no similar cases are known of such compounds in long dead bodies. That's not true. Again, 80%. So this was based only on the 9 mummies at first. Again, remember, they did more tests on 71 more mummies, and 80% of them had cocaine in them. We're not done. I'm going to show you what other famous mummy had this as well. Very famous one. All right, so they're trying to gatekeep and write it off, with no proof. Like, they can't really debunk it. They just speculate so people can hear it. Oh, the scientist said this was probably contaminated. And then the naysayers will just run with that, right? Because they don't want it to be true, because it'll rewrite their history. They're out of Africa theories. And especially the pre-Columbian transoceanic voyages are highly speculative. Why? 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 What did we just recently learn? I mean, what we already know, right? Like, what do we already know, guys? We literally read in a book, right? Where is it? Right? Like this is just one video, one example. We got so many videos proving ancient Americans were sea voyaging, were seafarers, were the first navigators, were the first to cross the Atlantic. If you guys don't remember, the most famous historian on navigation said that if anybody was to cross the Atlantic first, it would have to been from the American side because our Gulf Stream, our streams, the currents in the sea are stronger, the winds are more favorable. It's 4 times harder coming the other way around. Just like we learning in this book, The American Discovery of Europe. Literally read this the other day, guys. Come on now. We literally read this the other day. All right, and you probably missed this video as well. A lot of people have hard time retaining info that we've gone over. And I understand that might be difficult for a lot of you. That's why you got to go back, keep studying. Just like when you do in school, you keep studying, you keep going back, you keep referencing, you keep studying. You can put in all the info together, all the research in the last 8 years. So if you really were following in the last 8 years, you like I wouldn't have to be this like so harsh on certain people, trying to convince them to break out of their biases. Because I'm not trying to convince them about this truth, because this is truth. I don't care if they believe it or not, but trying to convince them that they have biases, that they're stuck in a belief system and not facts. So these criticisms are each discussed in turn. Balabanova, etc., are shown to have used and confirmed their findings with accepted methods, okay? So all that stuff about contamination, all that's bull. That's just them trying to gatekeep. The possibility of the compounds being byproducts of decomposition is shown to be without precedent, okay? You're just reaching and highly unlikely. They're reaching. They're gatekeeping. The possibility that the researchers made evaluations from faked mummies of recent drug users is shown to be highly unlikely in almost all cases. How are you going to say they're fake mummies if she's going to the museums, they're giving her permission to go and test the mummies they have there that they are displaying as ancient? So all these excuses are so dumb, really. Additionally, it is shown that significant evidence exists for contact with the Americas in pre-Columbian times. You mean contact with the fake new old world? Us going out and bringing civilization to the rest of the world. Yeah, we've proven that. Oh, we definitely have proven that. And we have shown significant evidence of that. All right? Hey, Solar, I got the Ramses thing already. Like, you think I'm on top of everything. Come on, man. Don't worry about it. We get to that. We'll get to that. Exists for contact with the Americas in pre-Columbian time. It is determined that the original findings are supported by substantial evidence despite the initial criticisms. In one-page article appearing in so that's the article we read, right? So the study is going program investigating. So we read that, right? So the study was done as part of an ongoing program of investigation, the use of hallucinogenic substances in ancient societies. The authors themselves were quite surprised by the findings. And that's from Discovery 1987, but stood by their results despite being the major focus of criticism in the following volume of Arthur Wenshanten, okay? Of the 9 mummies evaluated, all show signs of cocaine and hashish, okay, and THC. So the criticisms, right? What is the criticisms? We got to go over the criticisms just so we can understand how dumb they are. So you can see how illogical they are. The biggest criticism of the findings of Balabanova was not necessarily directed at the extraction process per se, although this was discussed. The biggest criticism was that cocaine and nicotine could not possibly have been used in Egypt before the discovery of the New World, and that transatlantic journeys were not known, or at least they are highly speculative. So that is their biggest rebuttal, which we already know that's not true. We were navigating. We have found so many old world things over here, culture, all that. This is the true old world. Who got the biggest trees to build ships? Again, Noah. We're talking about the first shipbuilder. You want to talk about in biblical times, the first shipbuilder, he used gopher wood, right? Didn't he use gopher wood? Where's gopher wood from? From Florida and Georgia and parts of North South America, like northern South America. That's where gopher wood is from, guys. The same wood that Noah used. So what are you talking about? Now, if you don't want to use biblical stuff, who got the biggest trees, guys? The biggest cedars, the cedars of God, huh? I mean, we still standing. The tallest trees in the Americas today, the tallest tree in the world is still in the Americas, and the oldest trees. The oldest tree living is in the Americas. The first, the second, the third, the fourth, and like the first five are in the Americas today. Future video, I'm going to show you guys that. It is safe to say that the criticisms of the study would have been minimal or non-existent if the findings had been made of old world drugs. You see? If they would have found things that grow over there and these mummies, nobody would be criticizing this. Such findings, in fact, would not have been at all unusual, as the use of stimulants were known in Egypt. Poppy seeds and lotus plants have been identified for just this use in manuscripts. The papyrus. So look, look, this is crazy right here. So poppy seeds and lotus plant, right? I thought they were gonna say they have found them in the mummies, but no, they're talking about they were written in papyruses. That doesn't mean they were over there either. And in hieroglyphics, all right? Not in the mummies, like how they're finding with the cocaine and nicotine, and writings. Those writings could be telling a story of the true Egypt. Schaffer, 1993, argues that the detection of pharmacologically active substances in mummified material never proves their use prior to death. He argued, he's a gatekeeper, obviously, he's Schaffer. He argues that such compounds could have been introduced as part of the mummification process. But that's funny right there. So let's say, yeah, okay, they introduced it when they were mummifying these people. Either way, that's 3,000 years ago. So he just debunked himself. What a dummy. So either way, they still got nicotine and cocaine 3,000 years ago while they're mummifying, supposedly. But again, remember, guys, they found this inside the bone tissue, inside the liver, inside the organs. It was ingested. The suggestion is that especially nicotine could have been introduced around the mummy and subsequently absorbed into its tissues as an insecticide, being used as preservative within the relatively modern times. See? Could have, right? Could have. He can't prove that. All he can say is make a statement to try to make you get lost in the sauce again, to make you not even think about it. A similar criticism was raised by Bourgeon, 1993, who wondered if nicotine might have been absorbed by the mummies from cigarette smoke in the museums. Come on now. See, this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, see, she knows what she's doing. The scientists who did the test, the scientists, they know what they're doing. They know what methods they have to use to determine, right? So that's a bad. These people are just the ones that are getting paid to gatekeep. Same people are still over there in ancient and modern Egypt talking about, that's the old world. They come out on the History Channel. They're the gatekeepers. Yeah, Atlantis is America. Yes. ATL is an American word. Atlan, and you add the TIS, that's the Greek. Atlantis. Okay? I got so many videos on Atlantis being here, guys. Like, please catch up, MVG, if you can. Guys, if you're new to my channel, we've been here 8 years, over 1,100 videos. Please catch up. The oldest forest is in North America, exactly. The oldest roots system that they found. Stop using that pixie dust, for real. So another interesting criticism of Schaffer, see, is one guy. So one guy is trying to criticize all these, debunk these scientists where his theories, where his could have, most likely, probably, may have. One guy. They're quoting one guy, okay? I'm gonna put this article in the chat so you guys can read it like thoroughly, so you can see how dumb, how funny it is. Their rebuttals. Their rebuttals are so silly. Okay. So the criticism that seems most popular is that the identified drugs might have been products of necrochemical and necrobiochemical processes. That's Schaffer and the same two guys that are being paid to debunk this. One explanation is the Egyptian priests used atropine alkaloid containing plants during the mummification process that subsequently underwent changes in the mummy to resemble identified compounds. Yet another argument is that there is nothing in the literature showing that any of these three compounds have been identified in bodies that have been dead for some time. So reply to the critics. That's what I'm saying, Paco. Paco said he got 1,096 videos to go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. People say, I've been following you for years, and they've only watched like 5 of them, here and there. I've been following you for years. And then when they're talking to me, they're talking about out of Africa theories and all this other stuff. It's so disappointing. Like, dude, you say you've been following me for years, but you really haven't really been watching the videos. I can tell by what you're telling me. I got a guy right now going back and forth with me, an email, and I had to literally, like, I'm sorry, with all respect, it seems like you don't really watch me. You're still talking about Afro this and that you came from Africa and Timbuktu and then came to the Americas and became the Olmec. That's your own hijacks, bro. That's pseudo. You have no proof of the African part. Like, it's very disappointing. 8 years later, they still have people try to fake it with me and say, oh, I've been following you for years. I love your work, but you're still talking about out of Africa stuff. And I try to keep it respectful and professional with them. And it's hard, man, because I'll respond something for them to think about, and they come with their rebuttals, like these guys with their silly rebuttals, like Schaffer. What about the Sahara? We got deserts over here too. What about it? So analytical techniques and contamination. And the study samples were taken from, hold on, guys. I gotta do something real quick. 1 second, guys. Because, 1 second, guys. I'm missing my prelims. 1 second. I just want to watch it while I'm here. Hold on. Hold on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I know you guys having fun learning. Give me a second. Give me a second, okay? Hey, where is it? Okay.
Hello.
All right. Oh, damn, it won't let me. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it won't let me it won't let me see it if I'm sharing screen. It's all good. We're almost done anyways. It says in the study, samples were taken from 9 mummies that were dated from between 1000 BC to 395 AD. The samples, including hair, skin, and muscle, were taken from the head, abdomen. Bone tissue was also taken. So we got we got how they did it, right? This is the procedure used to produce what McPhillips considers indisputable evidence for confirming products of substance abuse in hair. This is the same methods they use every other time. So why, when they use it on this case, they want to try to debunk it? Within recent years, hair analysis has been used for more commonly in this kind of screening process, and the techniques employed have been optimized. Mistakes are known to have occurred in some cases varying from metals, but the ability to detect drugs such as cocaine, nicotine, and hashish seem not been problematic. The two possible mistakes in analyzing hair for drugs include false positives, which are caused by environmental contamination, and false negatives, where actual compounds are lost because of such things as hair color and permanent. In recent years, these techniques of hair analysis have revealed the interesting findings of arsenic in the hair of Napoleon Bonaparte and laudanum in the hair of the poet Keats. This was a swarthy man, by the way. I got a video on him. The procedure includes a thorough wash. Okay, so they're saying, listen, the methods they used are indisputable evidence. This is the same methods they use always to test drugs in people's hair, like to get the testing, right? And then it says fake mummies. The argument that the mummies might have been modern fakes was investigated by David on Discovery 1997. David is the keeper of Egyptology, all right? Yes, you understand who he is, at the Manchester Museum, and undertook her own analysis of mummies independent of Balanova's group. In addition, she traveled to Munich to evaluate for herself the mummies studied by Balabanova's group. Unfortunately, the mummies weren't available for filming, and they were being kept isolated from further research on grounds of religious respect. You guys see that? Once they found out what they were finding in these mummies, they put them into storage in the basement. They took it out of public. They didn't let nobody else test them or film them. I bet you they don't look, I bet you they, see, that's the thing, guys. We don't even know what these mummies look like. I bet you they look like American mummified mummies. David had to resort to the museum's records. She found that except for the city's famous mummy of Henotawi, the famous mummy that we just read about, right? Who was one of the cocaine mummies, Lady of the Two Lands. Look at that. Lady of the Two Lands. So that, what does that mean? Did she travel? Like she was, look at that. Wow. The mummies were of unknown origin. Okay. They the mummies were of unknown origin, and some were represented only by the detached heads. Unknown origin. Unknown origin. So if they're saying, oh, we found them in ancient and over there in Egypt, we dug them out, that's a lie. You're just saying that. Unknown origin. Remember, it said in the other article, little to nothing is known about her. Little to nothing is known about her. Hey guys, if you came in late, please watch from the beginning. You missed a lot of context, okay? Please watch from the beginning. You can do that right now. Just go to the beginning of the video, or just wait, you know, because we went over a lot of stuff. David's inability to examine the mummies herself may have kept the possibility of faked ones open. However, her evaluation of the museum's records seemed to indicate otherwise. The mummies were preserved with packages of their viscera inside. Some even contain images of the gods. What gods? What gods? Do you guys understand that the gods they depict the Egyptians as are American animals? So even that, we got so much proof this is ancient Egypt, guys. Even their deities, right? So Thoth, right? Thoth is an Ibis, right? I'm just going to give you an example, right? Thoth is the greeny beast. The greeny beast. He's always represented as the greeny beast, right? Thoth is the greeny beast. Okay? Thoth is the greeny beast, right? I mean, you check out my Thoth videos, guys, right? Thoth is the greeny beast, right? Greeny beast. Greeny beast. The greeny beast, also known as the cayenne ibis, is a wading bird in the ibis family, right? This is a resident breeder from Honduras through Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Shout out to my Costa Rica people. And Western Panama and South America to northern Argentina. It undertakes some local seasonal movements in dry season. Okay? Not from Africa. Not from Africa. Do you understand? So they're deities, right? They even found deities, right? He's saying some even contain images of the gods that actually are American animals. Ra, right? Ra, right? Ra. Did you guys know this is an American falcon as well? Did you guys know this was an American falcon? This type of falcon, this one right here is the original one. Let me see if I can find it. American origin. I forget the name of it. I forget the name of it, but it's native to the Americas, guys. Can you guys remind me if you guys know the name? I saw it the other day. It's not this. I saw it the other day. Is it this one? The peregrine falcon? Let me see. But guys, all their deity, the animals are all from the Americas. They're all from the Americas. Falcon. Let me see. American falcon. Let me see. Let's see if it comes up. Ah, they want to show me Marvel. They're trying to hijack that. There we go. So like, I'm telling you, there's one just like it. I forget the name. I forget the name. You see the mark coming down from the eye? These are an American animals, guys. You're also gonna find a ram in ancient Egypt. Longhorn. I think longhorn ram. Ah, like this animal. You find this in ancient Egyptian deities and also statues. This is from the bighorn ram. This is from the Americas, guys. This is from the Americas, guys. The peregrine falcon? Yeah, so it's the peregrine falcon, right? That's raw. It's one of these. This is raw. Trust me. The Birdman. Remember the Birdman? Befriend our pointed trade scouts on the third trip. They claim he died at sea and left him in charge. Huh? The people we shared our standards of resource about abundantly. What are you talking about, MVG? Yeah, not talking about any, not giving any context to what you're talking about. Anyways, let's go back. So they're finding these cocaine mummies, right, with these deities who are also American animals, right? In addition, the state of mummification itself was very good. Hold on. I think I have a video where I showed that. 1 second, guys. I have a little segment where I showed that, I think. Come on, where are you? This is a great playlist. Also, if you want, if you're new to my channel, start from part 1, from Indigenous American to African American. Okay, from Indigenous American. Let me just get the video I'm looking for. It's like part 22 or something. There we go. thought I had it here. Could have sworn I had it here. Mm-hmm. I could have sworn I had it here. It's probably in here somewhere. All right. But if you guys study it, yeah, Horus, all of them, they're all American deities. Remember Horus, Orukan, the eye of Horus is the hurricane. Remember hurricane, the little twirl, the swirl at the end of Horus' eye, that's the sight, that's the Hurakan. Horus, Horukan. Okay? In addition, the state of mummification itself was very good. The isolated heads may have been fakes. Evidence of one of the others is lacking, but the intact bodies examined in Balabanova's research were clearly genuine. Chemical changes. The argument that the identified drugs might be byproducts of decomposition is highly unlikely. The argument appears to resemble a just so story of biochemical evolution without the benefit of natural selection. Schaffer 93 admits that natural decomposition or mummification has never led to synthesis of cocaine or related alkaloids, but leaves the possibility open anyway. He argues that the compound in question might theoretically have been produced, so theoretically, right? So he's guessing. Isolated examples. So what they're doing in this article is debunking all the naysayers, right? And they're doing a very good job of it. That's why I shared the link. So pre-Columbian voyages to America. The major reason for the initial criticisms to Balabanova's work is the disbelief in pre-Columbian transoceanic contacts, which we already know. We were navigating since ancient times out of here. Exactly. Anubis is the Sholo dog, exactly. All their animals, right? Right? Sholot, Anubis. This is the real Anubis, guys. This is the real Anubis. It's original to the Americas. The hairless dog. Sholo, the dog breed. That's the real Anubis, guys. And the deity here, Sholot, is literally the god of the underworld, just like Anubis. Just like Anubis. This is what I'm saying. I can show you so many examples, guys. This is from my cover of my video right here. This is the cover of my video right here. You see, that's the Sholot. Anubis is the Sholot. It's not no coyote. They try to say it's a wild coyote. Coyote look nothing like this guy. And he's hairy. This is a Sholot, which is one of the most ancient dogs in the world. And the oldest domesticated dog in the world. The ancient Mayas and the ancient Peruvians had this dog. They just like the ancient Egyptians supposedly had the Anubis dog, and they buried themselves with it, everything. The Aztec dog, or indigenous to Mexico, is among the oldest known canine breeds, with a history spanning over 7,000 years. Check out my Anubis video, guys, if you're new to my channel. So the dog was held in significant respect and importance, as they believe it was a divine gift from the god Sholot. The Xoloquintli was revered for its role as spiritual guide for the souls of the deceased on the journey to Mictlan, or the underworld. Okay? Just like Anubis did. Just like Anubis. So we did the video, now everybody knows, you see? We did the video, now everybody knows. I did the video like 5-6 years ago. Okay? That's Sholot right there with the cross. Is Anubis a dog? Anubis, the Sholot. The Sholot. Okay? Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's why I tell you guys, please catch up. There's so much drop we've gone over. There's an identical breed in Peru, but it's the same family. It's the same one in Peru. The Peru hairless dog is the same as the Sholot. It's the exact. Look, Peru. The Peruvian hairless dog. It's the exact same dog, guys. It's Sholot. It's the same one, and they also had it for thousands of years, especially amongst the royal families. Okay, they got different colors of them too. All right. That's Anubis. They even put him in that movie, you know, the Disney movie where the dog guides the little girl in the underworld. He had a little hair. They have hair, some of them, like this. They have hair sticking up like a spiky, like a spike, you know, like a mohawk, I mean. Pretty cool dogs. Okay. So pre-Columbian voyages, he mentions here that several researchers whose work has been academically marginalized because they supported these views, Stephen Jett, which we have read from, Carl Johansson was the article we read where he proved that the Hindu mummies and the Hindu temples from, like, these temples are from like 1000 AD, 1100 AD, all right, before Columbus, they were holding corn. And who proved that? Agricultural scientists, experts. They said, nah, that's not no acorn, that's not no pine cone, that's not the third eye, whatever you want to say. That's an actual corn. That's maize they're holding. Maize. Shout out to Carl Johansson. Again, go watch that video too. So yeah, transatlantic, that, you know, that happened, but that's not the reason they have cocaine. It's because they were getting them from here. So we reached the end of this article, right? So I just wanted to show that again. So what does it say here? Ramses II and the tobacco beetle. So not only, you guys remember that, let's see if you guys remember, who was Princess Kocha's ancestor? Who was Princess Kocha's ancestor? Princess Kocha that went to Scotland, right? She's supposed to be an Egyptian princess, right? Scotia. So in the Irish and Scottish annals, ancient annals, her ancestors are the famous kings, Ramses II and all these people. And they kept going up, and eventually these people descended from Esau. Esau, Edomites. The ancient Egyptian supposed king, they're supposed to be so-called Egyptian, right? That actually came out of Esau. And that's in the Irish and Scottish annals, ancient annals. The use of wide range of narcotic drugs in antiquity has been widely documented. All right, so again, I just wanted to see what this is from. This is from the article in Antiquity, September 2001, University of Edinburgh. Okay? Now, this is real stuff here, guys. The use of wide range of narcotic drugs in antiquity has been widely documented, although archaeologists have sometimes been too credulous of apparently scientific data and have failed to appreciate the post-excavation histories of artifacts, including mummies. This paper examines the discovery of tobacco. Of what? Tobacco in the mummy of Ramses II. So where is Ramses II really from? Where did the Exodus really happen? Moses, right? We already know, man. Like, we have already proven all this stuff. Provides an alternative model of its origin. An alternative model for its origin. A 19th century insecticide used in conservation throws out. Okay, see, now they're trying to debunk it. But what I'm trying to show you here, guys, is that they actually have found tobacco in Ramses II's mummy as well, supposedly, right? In her chapter on mummification, Rosalie David, 2000, refers to the presence of Nicotine and Atemadi in the abdominal cavity of Ramses II in his stomach as plant substances utilized in the preservation process by ancient Egyptians. Okay? Both were discovered during the re-examination of his mummy in Paris. Where? 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 In Paris, not in over there in Egypt. That's where they're doing the test. Where is Ramses' mummy? In Paris, in France. All these mummies are in Europe. They want us to believe they got them from over there, the desert, what they call Egypt today. That's what they want you to believe. But they're all in Europe. By the time they're doing these tests, they were in Europe. And again, guys, This is why I'm trying to tell you, like, you gotta catch up. You gotta please catch up. You're gonna see all these articles that were written and how they were taking all these mummies from the Americas that looked Egyptian and bringing them to European museums. Check out this playlist, Amazing Old Newspaper Reports of America, that I got. I got these things in order. I got them organized in playlists for you. I'm trying to make it easier for you to catch up. Take advantage. Watch these videos, guys. And I have way more reports on this and other videos that are not even in here. But go through these articles. You'll see how much stuff they found here that they hide, that they sent to European museums. So the Ramses II had also tobacco in his stomach, and they did the test in Paris, not in so-called Egypt. The evidence for Nicotine tobacco was published in 1978, and later with the etymological data from the mummy by Stefan, 1982, the refusal of the Egyptian authorities, the gatekeepers, to permit the removal of a sample for a radiocarbon date only served to fuel the controversy of the origins of tobacco in the old world. The true old world right here. The true old world right here. Hey, King Steph, you have a King Steph. You have a time machine, man? Hey, King Steph, you have a time machine or anything to debunk that? Or are you just gonna put a comment in the chat like that debunks what we're saying? Like you wrote those ancient annals of Ireland. You obviously haven't watched the videos. You obviously haven't watched the videos. See, a lot of you guys, that's not true. Stop babbling, man. Get out of here and stop babbling. You have no way to debunk the ancient annals. You have no way of debunking the ancient annals of Ireland. I'm going to show them to you right now for the dismount. I'm going to show them to you right now for the dismount, okay? Y'all is really silly, man. Y'all are really silly, man. Like, you want to come here like you're debunking something by making a statement on the comment section. By making a comment on the comment section. Y'all are really silly, man. Where are we? Scotia. This is part 8 of Genealogical Stories, another playlist. Okay? Let's see if we can remember, ancient Egypt was in America. So they're saying Scotia came from an Egyptian king, right? You're going to see that Ramses is one of her ancestors. And they find in tobacco and Ramses' stomach.
Our race, its origin, and its destiny. A serial devoted to the study of the Saxon riddle. The renewal of history, how empire was rebuilt and replanted. Eochaid, the hegemon. And this is by Charles A.L. Totten. This is from 1892. Let it be pointed out that Chalcol or Cecrops, who was Nil to the Egyptians, all right, that's who he was to the Egyptians. Nil is Chalcol, son of Judah. They called him Nil in Egypt. Was the father of Gadhold, who married Scotia, the daughter of Meneptah. Scotia, who's Scotia? Remember, didn't they name Scotland after Princess Scotia of Egypt? Gadhold married her. Who's Gadhold? The son of Chalco. So he's Judah too, direct line. Judah, male line. Daughter of Meneptah. That's who she is. Daughter of Meneptah. Now Meneptah was Darem, the son of Ramses II, who was Rijan, the son of Seti I, who was Walid, the son of Ramses I, who was Tardan, and Tardan was the son of Duke Amalek, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, Esau, the son of Isaac and Rebekah. What does that mean? He's the son of Isaac, sons of Sac, right? Saxon, another Saxon, through Esau, not through Jacob. Do you see where that all the way back? These are so-called Egyptians, but it ended up with Esau. You see that? That's deep right there. Hope you guys are paying attention to this, and you can verify this lineage. You can pause it, take a screenshot, and go verify. This is deep right here. So this Gadhol, who was a descendant of Judah, a son of Chalcol, who was known as Cecrops in Greece, and Neil in Egypt, got with Scotia, who's an Egyptian, whose ancestor is Esau, the son of Isaac, Saxon, son of Isaac, and Rebekah. Remember, Esau is the twin of Jacob. They're brothers, twins, same parents. But Gadhol begat Israel, and Israel begat Shru, and Shru begat Heber, Scott, who was the brother of Cadmus, the brother of Cadmus. Remember, Cadmus came out of Egypt. Now you see all the relation. And you know, Cadmus, also another pioneer founder of an ancient Greek nation. Now, Heber Scott begat Boahain, and he Agaimhain, who was the contemporary of Jesse. And Agaimhain begat Taid, and he Agenoin. But enough.
Hi, guys.
So I'm gonna move ahead, all right? Because you guys got to watch the whole video on your own. But I'm just trying to show this part right here because people think I just like, and this is just a couple sources. I've shown other sources.
Dynasty, Egypt was a kindly cradle, but when Edom in the 19th got the temporary dominion, all right, Edom in Egypt, right, the process of shaking the yoke from off his own neck drove forth the nations to their destinies, all right. But don't forget, all these people, even though they're coming out of Chalco, his son married this Egyptian whose ancestor was Esau. So there's still Esau bloodline in there too, in a way. But they're going through the males, right? All right, so we continue a little further in the book. It says here the renewal of history, or Eo Kaid, the Heremon. Remember, he comes from Shakol, the son of Shakol marrying Scotia. And it this table they have here in the previous page.
All right, guys. So check out this genealogical table, right? So as you guys see on the right here, it says Esau, Eliphaz, Amalek, right? Amalek, Hardam, Walid. So Walid and Rijam, these are Ramses. These are different names for Ramses. So it tells you right here. So Walid is Setite of first, right? Rijain is Ramses the first, okay? And then so on. So Ramses, his son, Ramses the second. And then Meneptah, who is the dad of Scotia, right? Like this is real history. You want to think about it as mythology, but this is in the annals of the British Isles. To them, it's not mythology, it's real history. And you want to come here and argue with me? That's not true, Kurimeo. What do you mean, well, it's not? You got a time machine? Did you write these annals? I actually shown the actual annals in other videos. I just can't remember which one. This is the only one I can remember right now. I have over 1,100 videos, guys. So don't, you know, if you can't debunk this, then you got nothing else to say, man. All right. So I just want to say, let me see. Shout out to Copper Corn Mount. Thank you for the donation, man. Most High bless you. Hey, Signs, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Who else? Let me see. Joseph, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Most High bless both of you, man. All right. And I think, let me see. Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about Ramses the second. Had tobacco. He had tobacco in his stomach. Tobacco is native to the Americas. Geographic origin, the Americas. So why does Ramses II, an ancestor of Queen Scotia, have tobacco in his stomach? Huh? Why? I think I've made my point today. I think I've made my point today. And I know a lot of you never knew about this stuff. You probably heard about it, but you didn't understand, and and if you're coming from the Pan-African side, you probably was like, oh yeah, we went over there and brought it back, Yeah, you cannot prove that. This is ancient Egypt right here, America. We've proven that so much and so many different videos, guys. So many different videos. And not only us, but many others. Shout out to UBTB. He has a whole series, America's Egypt. All right, more icing on the cake. More icing on the cake, man. Hey, Science, what song should we go out with? Give me a song, Science. Which one should we go out with? You're giving me so many. Hold on, let me see. I appreciate anybody that tuned in. Make sure you like and share the video, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. I don't know why you're not subscribed yet. Like, you like the videos, you're here. Any Pan-Africans listening, this ain't personal. You guys got to understand my passion for this and the truth and how I'm trying to help you see something. I'm trying to really help you break out of the indoctrinations. You got to empty your cup. And if you're new to my channel, you got to catch up. You got to catch up. Hey, Science 34, is that doesn't have the copyright stuff, right? Wait, I don't have 34. I have up to 33. Let me see. Hold on. You sent it recently? My fault. Hold on. Whoop. Oh, here we go. Okay, I see it, bro. I see. No, no, no. Hold on, man. Okay. All right. I got you, man. I got you, dog. Go looking out for sharing that, Science. So we're gonna go out with Science' new beat that he shared with me. All right. I appreciate everybody that came through today on your Saturday. I'm gonna go and chill a little bit on my rest of my Shabbat. I shouldn't have even done this, but Most High knows this ain't work. This is me chilling. Appreciate you guys coming through. Anybody donated, shout out to everybody that was in the live chat, to my moderators, to my Patreon supporters, anybody that's in my members channel. Thank you. I appreciate you guys very, very much. All right. Nicotine, cocaine, and hashish found in Egyptian mummies. Period. Period. These are American plants. Okay? That's it. Period. You got 9 to debunk. And you Pan-Africans are getting left behind. Y'all getting left behind. It's been almost 8 years. Y'all still talking about the same stuff. And anybody else who don't believe what we're showing, again, this ain't about believing or agreeing. I can tell you the sky is blue. I can see it with my eyes, whether you want to agree or not. I don't care if you agree. I don't care what people say. We got receipts, and the research speaks for itself in the last 8 years. Catch up. All right, this is just more icing on the cake, and nobody has ever shown you the study behind these mummies, and I showed you today. Finally, somebody's showing you the actual studies. All right. Appreciate you guys coming through. All right. Much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Wow.